Hey everybody, welcome back to Northern Lion Plays the Binding of Isaac Afterbirth. Easy peasy so far, win 11. I'm gonna stop doing the math about how many wins that means relative to how many losses that means we've had semi-recently. But I'm pretty sure over the last, 3 months we have 2 losses. Let's eliminate those 2 losses and then we could play forever without ever getting a loss. And that would be pretty sweet. That's also the most Canadian without I've said in a long time. RGT3 JLTC. Looks like we got relatively good starting stats, even though you can't trust the stat screen. 3 HP is amazing. Crystal Ball is really good, and especially really important early on here. I mean, I thought I might just pop Hanged Man right there. But Mom's Wig, pretty good as well. Mom's Locket, not super thrilled with. I feel like the body pickup is one of those things where if it's like your first 6 months playing Isaac, you're like, what an incredible pickup. We have just won the game. But in my old age and cynicism, HP isn't all it's cracked up to be. Damage is the true stat, you know? Now it's all about cash in abundance. People I used to run with are rich or doing years in the hundreds. So I switched my motto. Instead of saying, fuck tomorrow, that buck that bought the bottle could have struck the lotto. That's my motto now. Well, I mean, they already made that rhyme there. But we don't care so much about having 6 HP. I mean, basically, as long as we don't have 1 or 2 HP or just a couple of Spirit Hearts, I feel pretty good about Eden starting HP. So to have 6 is nice, don't get me wrong. It's certainly nicer to have 6 than it is to have 3, but it doesn't make an outrageous difference in our chances of winning, I think. It's just a little bit of a nice addition here. Now, what would be awesome, first off, great ability to get an arcade on the next floor, and that is definitely some way that we could leverage our HP. But I was thinking, pop Hanged Man here, drop this, hope for Small Rock. Didn't get Small Rock, we got 2 bombs. And honestly, with 2 bombs, I think we'll probably make an effort to find our second secret room. Our damage is decent enough, and Mom's Wig is nice as well, so we should be able to kill any bosses we come across here relatively easily. Second secret room, we'll play it once. Got nothing, hoping for maybe a better trinket, but still want to keep our arcade chances alive. We got a key back for the cost of 2 bombs. Not amazing, but not terrible either, not catastrophic. And in fact, the one thing the body does give us is an extreme degree of tolerance to making mistakes. And sometimes that can be dangerous to have a tolerance to making mistakes. Roid Rage is pretty good here. But let's not let it breed laziness. So far, so good. Curse of the Blind. We didn't get a Spirit Heart from either our Tinted Rocks or from any of our Crystal Ball plays. So that's like the only thing right now where I'm like, maybe we could fuck up our deal with the devil, and then it doesn't really matter how much HP you have if you can't find damage to go along with it. So just ever so slightly cautious about that. Blood of the Martyr is okay. No Spirit Heart for sale on our shop, so it's getting a little ridiculous. We've had, you know, multiple opportunities to get Spirit Hearts. You'd expect one of them to pay out, but hey man, law of large numbers. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but it's vaguely mathematical, so, you know, ipso facto, we win. We're probably just going to pop the Devil card on this boss fight, and it is Monstro, Champion Monstro, not that bad. I apologize for focusing a little bit too much on Isaac mechanics when it comes to commentary so far, but we really can't afford to get hit here. If we get a deal with the devil, it gives us a half-decent item, precedent, etc., then we're pretty much well on our way to an Isaac flowchart victory here, especially with 6 HP, barring unforeseen consequences. Wire Coat Hanger is lovely. Sister Maggie's not very good. Missing Page 2 is also not very good, but we have the HP necessary to invest. Bad gas. Yeah, now we're probably fine, but admittedly, there were some moments there where I was like, I at least want to make sure that we get precedent. So another Tinted Rock, and another Tinted Rock. We do have bombs, so we should crack those, but just waiting on it just for a second here to see what we've got in these extra rooms. I am going to lose my Demon Heart. Ooh, this is great. Beautiful. We might as well use 1 bomb right here. And then also found the second secret room, which I would not have expected. Got a bunch of red hearts. No use for those, no arcade, sadly. But that worked out really well. I'm really glad we explored instead of just waiting on it. Could have placed a bomb better there, but that's alright. 2 red chests, one has 2 spirit hearts, one has 1 spirit heart. And here I thought that spirit hearts were going to be tough to come by. Apparently, that was idiotic. I don't know. I mean, we could... 1 bomb for 5 cents is a good trade. We got a luck upgrade out of it. We got 2 luck upgrades out of it as well. I think we should do exactly the same thing. 1 bomb for 5 cents. Oh, 1 bomb for 3 cents that time. And let's buy one of these 15-cent items. We got stopwatch. I mean, it's not bad. In fact, stopwatch is actually fairly well balanced now, but I normally would not pick stopwatch for myself. But you know what this does do is incentivize the hush fight a little bit. Because, and boss rush for that matter. Any room that is extremely long is going to be a lot easier as a result of having stopwatch. And I really think that, I talked about this I think the last time we had stopwatch. For all the shit that Nicholas, the developer, and every time I say Nicholas, could you have just called it Nicholas so that people didn't think I was talking about a single individual named Nicholas? When in fact it's multiple individuals named Nicholas that all work at the company and that's why it has that name. Let's go down here. Go to our special rooms. For all the shit that they get for a lot of items being nerfed, and, you know, I think a lot of that I've gone off on a little bit, as much as I do go off on anything, you know. It takes away some of the fun of the game, especially when you're used to it and it seems like kind of a victimless crime. The stopwatch nerf has actually made that item more fun, I think. Because instead of being like, hey, you win, it's just like, you know, this is a market improvement. Some people may disagree on that, but I think that nerf is probably the strongest nerf that they've done in terms of, like, actual still having some fun in the game there. So obviously we're sticking with Crystal Ball. We're so far ahead of schedule, I would feel remiss if I didn't come back here and crack into this mob trap room. Any consumable's okay by me at this point. Now, Mom's Wig, I recently learned, it's not when you hit enemies that it spawns a spider, and it's not when you finish a room that it spawns a spider, it's actually just by firing it has a chance to spawn a spider. And if you're saying, well, finally you learned that, excuse me, why do you have to be so anti-intellectual? Learning is an important part of adult life. You don't want to be the person who finishes, you know, 12th grade and then says, "Ooh, now I don't need to put any more information into my brain." That's a very sad consequence to draw. Better late than never, there's no such thing as stupid questions, etc., etc. So having learned that, I'm like, we should just be firing basically at all times. And I guess the faster our rate of fire, the better Mom's Wig will be for us as well. I wonder if Mom's Wig, that's definitely our secret room. No! Okay, it's definitely not our secret room is of course what I meant to say. There's our secret room. Why do we have vision of our secret room? Maybe we spawned inside of it somehow due to Curse of the Maze and then things got weird? I don't know. That is strange. We will try to go to our shop. Maybe Soy Milk Mom's Wig is actually like... Well, I guess it wouldn't be that good because you're still spawning spiders that do soy milk damage times 2, so... Times 2.5 or whatever. So maybe not that amazing, but, you know, the gears are turning for what could possibly be a useful implication of that. We definitely do not need the Spirit Heart. I don't really think we need anything there. 15 cents puts us in a great spot for the next floor, though, and honestly, we're just, we're going totally fine here. We could use 2 of clubs, and then, I mean, we could carry Hanged Man with us, but that's not really important, so I think we'll just save 2 of clubs. I guess 2 bombs are, like, yeah, 2 bombs is, like, literally the worst time to use it, because if you use it at any other interval, you get the same benefit or more. It's like they always say buy low, sell high. They don't say, you know, buy low and then sell at the worst possible. Okay, I mean, that's kind of like a truism, I suppose, but you get the idea. Little Chad. Not particularly useful. Which I feel like I've been saying a lot, but yet the run is still really good. So something's not working right. We do have a dice room. And we have... Well, you know what? Let's do it this way. Kill the enemies on this room, or hit the buttons at least. Double our bombs. Got a dice room, and we've got a double key room that is not a dice room. In the non-dice room, we just have flies, so bit of a waste there. And our dice room is a 3-room Rerolls all consumables on the ground on the floor. So I think that potentially could be incredible. Or at least very good. We have no arcade as well, which is frustrating, but basically any consumables we don't want to touch. Curse of the Maze, Power Pill. It's a relatively fair trade, I'd say. Any consumables we don't want, we should not pick up, and then we can use our 3 room to hopefully turn them into something more valuable. This is pretty good, but again, we're kind of waiting on like a cool synergy. Like I'd get rid of Crystal Ball for like a Diplopia or something like that, but apart from that, it's a very comfortable run. Now, this is Curse of the Maze. We've already seen this one. I mean, there's no penalty to taking it twice, but there's also no reason to take it twice. Let's use some common sense here. Give me a Spirit Heart. I'm going to throw down the Judgment and blow him up. We probably have a great chance of getting a Deal with the Devil regardless, but why not get the extra Deal with the Devil chance out of this? And I think ramming speed is worth taking. It is a speed upgrade, which I often forget. Just be careful here. Inside of our sack. No luck upgrades. It's alright. At this point, you know, you're probably getting a little tired of the chorus of, hey, every penny has to be a luck upgrade. Every penny does not have to be a luck upgrade, okay? If you're a penny, you can be a luck upgrade, you could be a doctor, hell, you could even be president one day. I mean, if you're Canadian like myself, they will have to pass a congressional amendment or a constitutional amendment. Don't let your dreams be dreams. If you want to be the American president, then do it. You know, my dream is actually to be the president of South Sudan. And do I know anything about the region? No, it just sounds nice, you know? South Sudan. I think I could do a lot of good for the area. Plus, I think it's like a good country for me to get my feet wet in politics. Is like, you know, start as the president of South Sudan, and then maybe later I could be like the comptroller of, you know, Cook County or something like that. We did take 9 volt, which I think is a sensible decision here, and apart from that, we'll just move on. Although I will check this, hoping for a teleport card, but no such luck. Wouldn't it be funny if, like, political positions were actually treated like CEO positions? Like, you could get ousted as the premier of, you know, Yugoslavia or something like that and be like, well, alright, well, I've been hired on by, Romania. It's a better position anyway. No offense, man, I'm just spitballing here. Like, if you could actually be like, oh, man, Canada has a really good, you know, prime minister right now. We're gonna poach him for Venezuela. And then he had to make like a heartfelt announcement to the Canadian people that was like, sorry, Venezuela just offered me a great package, severance, golden parachute, a nice condo in Caracas, the capital of Venezuela. Thank you, Rainbow Six, for instilling that knowledge within me. This is an XL floor right here. So we're going to be gone with this really quickly. But, you know, I know that sounds ridiculous, but would it actually be worse? Does being a citizen qualify you innately to be better at being a leader of that country? I mean, in some ways, I would say the answer is possibly yes, because, you know, you're uniquely qualified relative to someone who's not a citizen of your country to know, you know, the ins and outs of what people want and stuff like that, at least in theory. But certainly, it would be better to have, like, a competent politician from a different country than it would be to, especially with experience leading a nation, than it would be to just have someone who is, like, a well-liked citizen of the country itself. But maybe I'm glossing over some things here, like, for example, having experienced people lead a country for, like, or lead several countries for, like, 40 years could lead to, you know, some kind of catastrophic collusion, you know, favoritism, etc., could cause a lot of problems, I suppose. But I wasn't really considering that, and I don't know why, when I come to you with gold, you have to pull out your asshole and take a big shit on my dreams. Why are you such a dream shitter? I'm just trying to make the world a better place. Sure, maybe I'm an idealist, but at the same time, you know, isn't that what this goddamn world needs right now? Okay, I'm going a little too far with the joke here. But it makes you think, doesn't it? Which is the universal send-off for, doesn't really make you think, but it could make you think if it was a more salient point, which it's not. Alright, still no teleport cards. So now you have to decide how much of a Steve Martin-esque wild and crazy guy are you? Because we could go for Golden Teleporter and get rid of Crystal Ball. Now I have to remind myself, Golden Teleporter is like, if you don't go to special rooms, it takes you to the next closest... Well, it takes you to the closest room that you've not been to. So if you've been to both secret rooms, and you've been to the deal with the devil, it will take you to an error room. Which is fine for us right now. In fact, that may be more fun for us to roll like that in the future. But it would definitely give us an easy teleport out of Boss Rush. The question is it worth getting out of Boss Rush there? We also have car battery, so I have no idea whether or not this would even work for us. 2 of diamonds again, not very useful here. And sack of pennies, pretty much equally shitty. I think we might as well go Golden Teleporter. Here's the problem, though. If I take Golden Teleporter, I'm probably not going to take it long term. I'm probably just going to take it and get out of Boss Rush. Because I really don't think that... I mean, I think it's a good item, but I don't think it's a good item now. Like, I don't intend to explore the rest of every single floor in the game. And I have to admit that we're doing really well for ourselves here with car battery crystal ball. If you start a run with Golden Teleporter, that's a ton of fun, because you can almost guarantee yourselves at least a deal with the devil per floor, as long as you can find the secret rooms. More money. We should donate it. Well, we have the Hermit card, so we can donate it. But late in a run, I don't think it's as valuable, because I'm really not interested in, you know, finding the secret room and second secret room on the womb every single time, and, you know, on the chest, it doesn't give you the ability to loop or anything like that, so I'm gonna probably end up making the simpler decision here, which is inevitably gonna annoy some people, but I do think it's honest to, like, not be that excited about Golden Teleporter here. Not a bad item, especially now that we have the Hermit card, though. It's not a necessary item for us, I'd say. Even though Crystal Ball might be a little overkill here. But I think this is fine. Again, we could choose to do Boss Rush. I just don't know if that matters to us. Like, with Stopwatch, I think it would mostly just add on some bloat to the video, where I'm trying to think of stuff to say. By the way, thank you to all the people who were leaving very nice comments about the video in which I talked about immortality. Most of that was coming from a place of being self-deprecating, but you know, I got a lot of comments that were like, hey, that rant was really good. And I appreciate that, you know? These are the thoughts that go through my head on a daily basis, and I try to bring my own unique perspective to it. I do sometimes think, man, like, wouldn't you be pissed to be the last person to die? Everybody else is gonna live, you know, forever until the heat death of the universe, and you're like, well, 75 years, I'm done. People are gonna laugh at your plight. Anyway, we'll get onto it. But we won't get onto it, you know? Instead, we're going to talk about serious issues like that Change.org petition to shut down Rotten Tomatoes because they don't like that Suicide Squad has a 37. I've been railing against Rotten Tomatoes from the beginning. I'm like, Rotten Tomatoes, why do you have to hate movies? Yeah, sure, you claim to just be an impartial aggregator of critics' review scores from across the world, and in that way you provide an average that in no way could possibly be influenced by an undue effect from a single critic or anything like that. But at the same time, have you ever considered the feelings of the multimillionaires at the DC Film Corporation who, you know, worked for countless hours on this film and are only going to be compensated with hundreds of millions of dollars in box office take? Won't somebody please think of the artistes? Dice Shard is good, but we can, you know, take it in the future. And that's not, I know that there's a whole, I'm outside of the Marvel versus DC film debate, and I get that there's a complex, people who are like really into these universes, you know, they identify them with them more, and it's dangerous for me to walk in as an outsider and be like, hey, everybody just cool it. Well, this is an easy decision, we're gonna go Dead Onion. And we will donate as much money as we can. I'm just saying, man, don't blame Rotten Tomatoes. That's like blaming the company that made the paper your report card is printed on because you got a D in English or something like that. there's people out there, and this has been true since the dawn of time, that don't agree with the critics, and that's okay. You don't get mad about it, you just go, critics, I don't trust 1,000 people's opinion, I only trust my own. And there's some validity to that, I think. You know, so for some people, they agree with the kind of person that becomes a movie critic. I find myself in that camp a lot. Some people, like perhaps Nick, for example, find themselves not often agreeing there, and that's okay as well. So Dead Onion here, plus, I mean, in the end, it's a movie. It's a 2-hour-long movie. Like, if it's bothering you this much, it might be time to, like, reevaluate the priority that this movie has in your life. And I'm not telling you that from a place of derision or making fun of you. Rather, it's just, you know, I think it's from a place of respect, basically. And by basically, I mean somewhat. But, you know, I was really into the movie Prometheus before it came out. Then when I saw that it was getting, you know, 50s and 60s on Rotten Tomatoes, I went and I said, you know, maybe these critics don't know what they're talking about. I saw the movie for myself, and I was like, oh, shit. I was totally wrong. But in the end, again, not to insult Prometheus, that's a well-trodden territory. I had to accept that, you know, my levels of hype for the movie were not necessary. And that was a very important learning lesson for me for hype in general. I think a lot of people are going through that right now. I mean, this is early August before the release of No Man's Sky. But, like, this whole No Man's Sky leak situation where, like, one dude bought the game on eBay, and he's like, yeah, I like it, but some of the things that were promised are not necessarily accurately represented in the game. And people are like, don't trust him! He missed a prompt that said press triangle to store things in your inventory. He doesn't understand how to play video games. Don't trust his opinion. This game will change your life, you know? It's, I think everybody goes, well, most people go through that, you know, learning lesson at some point of their lives. Maybe it was Batman vs. Superman. Maybe it'll be No Man's Sky. Maybe it's Watch Dogs. Maybe it's Daikatana, you know, where you learn to not trust hype so much. And especially, like, I think the danger is you got this media property. Again, don't take this as me telling you how to live your life. Being excited and being part of a fandom for something is really cool, especially when it works out. However, when you spent like 100 hours on message boards talking about something before it comes out, you know, it becomes about your identity more than it becomes about, you know, the specific quality of that entertainment product in general. And in the end, you know, is a movie or video game likely to change your life? I think it's possible, but I don't think it's extremely likely. You know, I've been affected by video games before. Video games have made me emotional. Films have made me emotional. Perhaps even the best amongst them have made me, you know, consider my place in the world, maybe even made me a slightly better person. But, you know, the events in my life definitely contribute more to that. So that's why, like, I get frustrated sometimes when we talk about, like, you know, hype in video games. We talk about it on the podcast all the time, and I'm like, it could be so much easier. All you gotta do is be like, this is a video game with a feature set that has been promised so far. If it comes out with those features accurately modeled in the way that I want them to be, in the way that it seems like they're promised, this game will be worth my time. But instead, it becomes, you know, hey, fuck you, buddy. Hey, you think that No Man's Sky is not going to be the best game ever? Have you even read the previews? You don't know what the fuck you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, we've talked ad nauseum. I think we will take this, and then we'll re-roll it. We've talked ad nauseum about, like, you know, oh, Guppy's tail, about, like, who should get the blame for that. But in the end, you know, I'm not interested in assigning blame. I'm interested in assigning ownership. And you can own not getting overly hyped up over, you know, marketing materials, man. I tell you this to make your life easier. I've been there. In 2002 or 2003, I bought my original Xbox. Very confusingly named now, but, you know, the Xbox. On my version of Halo, there was a trailer for a game that just looked amazing. It was called Brute Force. Maybe you've heard of it. Everybody was wicked hyped for Brute Force. It was a sci-fi squad-based shooter where, you know, the characters were going to have interactions and you could swap back and forth on the fly between the characters to accomplish the missions in a multitude of different ways. We were promised the world. And then when it came out, you know, it was extremely underwhelming. It was like a 6 out of 10 game. Not horrible, but not very good. And certainly not the world with which we've been promised. And it was a good learning lesson to be like, man, I spent so much time talking with my friends. And the time wasn't wasted, because we were socializing with one another. I'm trying not to be preachy here. But, at the same time, imagine if we'd just been talking about, you know, something else instead of this company's product. That turned out to not be very good in the end. It could have been a totally different story. We want the Emperor card here. I guess it's not a waste. I don't know. I always pull myself back from that preachy ledge. But I just see, like... I see so much backlash over games that are, like, overhyped. And I'm like, who do you think's doing the hyping? Yeah, you're promising that, you know, that things are going to be good when you're the marketers. Because, you know, that's how you keep your company in business. But at the same time, like, if you buy it over and over... That's the real issue, I think, involved there. And, you know, in some ways, I do actually feel bad for Hello Games, the people making No Man's Sky. And I'm always the guy who, if there's a criticism to be levied, like, as a YouTuber, one of them would be that, like, I'm maybe a little bit too much developer-focused at the risk of being, like, not as consumer-focused, which I don't necessarily think is a bad thing. But at the same time, they're poised to make millions and millions of dollars. But I think that given the hype that, you know, they've generated for the game, Sony's generated for the game, and, you know, the fans have generated for the game, there's no way it will ever meet the expectations. And in that way, I think that there's no chance that they... Unless it comes out and people are like, literally, this is the best video game of all time, then maybe that'll be different. But I think there's no way that people don't end up at least mildly disappointed. I'm just going to head up to the cathedral. And as a result, you know, that kind of sucks. As a human being who has bills to pay, it's probably not going to be that bad. You know, you can laugh all the way to the bank, I suppose. But that doesn't mean that you can just pile that money into, you know, a hole in your heart. Every time you get a tweet that says, hey, thanks, shitheads, for, you know, not making the game that I thought that you promised me. It's a weird industry sometimes, man. And I'm not assigning blame, again, to anybody. I'm just saying, hype is a fickle thing. Hype is like a coin. You can only be... There's only hype and backlash. I would love it if hype was a gradient that went from like -10 to 10. That's a start, I think. Alright. Two of spades. Might as well pop it early. Flush, Capricorn's beautiful, Brother Bobby, and Thunder Thighs. Kind of a strikeout there. That's okay. We are going to win this run, and we're going to win relatively easily. Or you know what? Again, I'm recording this on like August 4th or something like that. I don't look at the calendar. I sit in my underwear most of the time. Maybe 4 or 5 days from now, No Man's Sky comes out, and people are like, this is actually the greatest game of all time. That would be a lovely story, and I would look like a fucking moron here. But you know more than I do at this point. It's just, you know, if I ever make a video game, and I have the luxury of not having to worry about whether or not it sells, you know, literally 5 million copies, you will not hear about it until the day it's released. That's my platonic ideal, at least. Is that I'll just be like, hey, by the way, my game's out. It's a platformer, or it's a strategy game or something. Go check it out. It won't be, oh, you know, you can simulate the entire real world in a petri dish in the game, and then, you know, you can make your own game inside of the game, given that I invented a new programming language for the game. It won't be like that. It'll be like, here's my 10-level platformer. Have fun. It's $180,000 a copy. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And, of course, subscribe if you'd like to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. And I'll see you next time.